sent you.
What the fuck were you doing with Miriam Egan? No one's been to visit her in 6 fucking years but me.
And who the fuck are you?
I'm her grandson. Who the fuck are you?
I'm her fucking grandson.
Oh, man. I can't hear you right now. Can you hear me? Not yet.
Yo, you got me?
Yeah. We good now, man. How you feeling?
Beautiful. I'm chilling, man. How you?
No, I can't complain. Hey, got
Good,
a nice little
man.
collection back there.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, this is my sneaker room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Indeed.
Most definitely. We're going to get started. I want to talk to you about this show. Congratulations again for a season renewal, going to season 2.
Hey, thanks, brother. Yeah, that was the good news from yesterday. So, yeah, salutes.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So you played character JP Gibbs on Parabook 4 Force, the series.
I do, man.
So how to explain about your role and what was the process to prepare for that?
JP Gibbs is a cat from Chicago. He's a jazz musician who owns a jazz club here in town with his father, who's also a jazz musician. And in Power Book 4 Force, when we meet JP, he's going through a bunch of stuff, man. His dad is sick, so it's putting him in like a little financial bind. So he's losing the club on that front, and then the club is also being shot up by local gangsters, and he doesn't understand why. So he's losing kind of pieces of himself, man. And then Tommy Egan rolls into town, and after some undigging, it turns out that Tommy and JP are actually brothers. They share a mother. They have the same mother. They got different fathers. So Tommy Egan comes into town, and what he thought was going to be maybe a quick visit, he starts to uncover some family secrets, and with some other things going on, you know, he's here setting up shop in Chicago.
Well, yeah. So as far as with you and Tommy Egan, played by Joseph Sephora, y'all actually know each other before Power.
Yeah, man. Joseph is from Chicago, and we did some theater together. You know, my career is primarily theater here in Chicago. So we've done some plays together, and yeah, he's a Northwest Side guy, and it was just great. It's been a tremendous experience, man, being able to come back and join the Power universe and to play Tommy's brother, man. It's been amazing, and to have like the personal bond with Joseph, which is, you know, something that you can't really fake. You can't replicate 25 years of knowing somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. Y'all looking like the hometown heroes, bringing the show to, you know, the Windy City. So
yeah, man. Are you in Chicago? You're not in Chicago, are you?
No, I'm from Arkansas, but my mom actually, she's from Chicago. She's on the west side. So
dig that, man.
Definitely, like I say, it's a lot of history there in that city. So what do you feel like with the talent that y'all have there, you know, with theater, television, and film? What are y'all doing right now creating those paths for like the next generation and just building in that city?
Man, we're doing a lot. And shows like Power, you know, shout out to Starz for bringing the show with 50 Cent and Courtney Kemp, bringing the show to a city like Chicago. One, they make it look amazing, man. You know, I was telling the story earlier of like just thinking back to episode 1 of this season and that first shot where they sweep across the lakefront and our skyline. Man, you know, I was watching the show with, you know, a lot of my family and friends all from Chicago. When that came up on the screen, it was just, everybody just raised the glass, man. It was just the sense of pride, the way our city is shown in this series. So it means a lot to be able to shine some light on Chicago talent, because, you know, this show is full of actors, not just actors, you know, directors, assistant directors, assistants, crew members, grips, who are all from Chicago. There's a lot of Chicagoans who make this show work and who put in that work and have this show what it is, have it the show that everybody across the world is loving. So to shine that light on our city and all the artists, all the actors and musicians and fashion designers, everybody coming out of Chicago, man. I mean, we something to look at. We something to recognize, and our impact on the culture is felt worldwide.
Definitely. I saw 50 always know how to bring together one of those like smooth intros, a classic intro. So
yeah,
Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah.
dope. So with the intro matching, like as far as like what the temperament with the weather was like, shooting out there in Chicago, the Windy City, like
Mm.
how do you feel like, your character and the characters as well could like resonate to the fans as far as the franchise? Like, what do y'all have to offer?
Man, we got a lot to offer. This is definitely a story that Power fans all over the world have invested a lot of time and energy into. A lot of time has been spent. There's a lot of connection to these characters in the Power universe, and also to the overall story. And taking the show out of New York is really dope, because it definitely does open up the show to a whole new universe. This is Chicago. Who knows where the show is going to go next? So to have Chicago be one of the stopping places for this show, man, it's just fantastic. And it really goes hand in hand, where we're able to see such a beloved character like Tommy Egan, coming from the original show, come to a city like Chicago, which has such a reputation throughout its history of rebuilding itself and reimagining everything that the city could be. And when you look at it, that's exactly what Tommy getting ready to do. He's leaving New York with nothing, so he's got to come to Chicago, or he comes to Chicago, and he's just going to build it up again, from the ground up. And he's going to be able to run it and organize it, and rule it the way he wants to, without any New York beefs, without any New York strings attached. So to come here and to have Chicago be such a big part of the show, as it has been, and as it will continue to be, it feels great, man. As a hometown kid, I can't ask for nothing more better.
Most definitely. How important is fatherhood to you? Because it shows your character as far as what you're dealing with. Not knowing like as far as why your mom decided not to bring you to New York, and then you trying to figure out like who you are while raising your son, and your son's under like Tommy. Like how do you feel like those different risks we have as far as with men, establishing their
My
fatherhood?
man, let me have to ask that question one more time. You was coming in and out of my headphones. My bad.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So like just dealing with as far as like the fatherhood, like a portion of the show, like how do you feel like your role, developing a relationship with your father, the one that you had with your father, and then bringing Tommy into your world while raising your son? Like how do you feel like fatherhood is important when it comes to, just us as far as like African Americans?
Fatherhood is very important, and here we have an example of a father and a son who are estranged from each other. They have no relationship, and it's tragic, especially when in this situation the father wants to be in the son's life, but he took a brave step, and he decided to start to live his life as he felt was truthful to him, by when he came out as a gay man. And in doing that, it cost him his son, because, his wife at the time took his son and vanished, and, probably filled his head with a bunch of madness and just prevented them from having a relationship. And we see that so often in our community, where young men grow up without a father figure, and it leads them down a different path that they maybe would not have gone down had there been a stronger male influence in their life. Chicago was full of young brothers who, because of their circumstance, because of the situation, end up going down, the rougher road, and, making it very difficult for themselves, end up committing them crimes or getting wrapped up with the wrong cats, spending, a certain amount of time incarcerated. And it just perpetuates that cycle. You know what I'm saying? So to have a young man in our show, such as D-Mac, who was beautifully portrayed by Lucian Cambrick, who plays the young D-Mac, my son in this show, I think you're going to see him capture a lot of those feelings in a lot of young brothers that are in Chicago, but in cities across America and across the world. You're going to see that longing for that connection, but there's still so much anger and rage inside that young brother, but it's misguided and it's misdirected. So hopefully in the show, in Power Book 4 Force, we can see JP reconnect with his young son. And then, now, that's Tommy's nephew, so there's more family for Tommy in Chicago, and we all know Tommy has always been a guy who longs and craves for that family connection. with everybody in New York, with being part of Ghost and his family and his mother and Teresi and, Cash and Keisha. He's always wanted that connection. And it's always failed him in one regard or another, sometimes by his own doing, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll have a situation here in Chicago. There's a scene in the first or second episode of Power Book 4 Force where he's talking to Gloria in the bar. And she's like, why'd you come back? And he says, I just feel like I can breathe here. And that's so telling of Tommy, because I think now that he's in Chicago, he can finally take a moment to breathe. And he's going to be able to maybe figure out some of these old family secrets that have been haunting him for all this time. And maybe he'll be able to finally make some lasting and solid family connections.
Definitely. That was a great answer. So how did you first get started in acting though? Like, tell me your beginnings and then to the point where you at with your breakthrough career right now.
Man, real quick, I knew I wanted to be an actor when I was in 5th grade, man. I was in 5th grade. We was doing a play and I was the bad guy in the play because nobody wanted to do it. So I was like, yo, I'll do it. And then I remember getting ready for the play all that day, man. I even went to school in my costume. Went to the back into the grill, my old man's grill, and I rubbed like charcoal all over my face and hands because it was like a real grimy dude. And I remember stepping out on stage and everybody booed before I said anything because they recognized me as the bad guy. So they was like, boo. And I remember, I just loved that feeling. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. If I can make people react like that before I even say anything, I'm about this.
All eyes on me.
Yeah, all eyes on me. So I'm like, let's roll with it. So, all through high school, I competed and did speech and drama and theater. And I went to college for a year here in Chicago, but then I started working professionally right after that in theater. So I've been doing theater, man, for about 24 years now, off and on. And, I've done some TV stuff. When TV stuff will come through Chicago, like I was a reoccurring character on this show called Prison Break, which the first season was filmed here in Chicago. So I got like 6 or 7 episodes of that. Some Chicago Fire stuff, just whatever little TV or film stuff I can land in here. But my bread and butter, man, and my passion for all these years has been doing theater and live performance, and sometimes a lot of physical theater with the company I work with called Looking Glass Theater, where I'm an ensemble member and a board member of the theater. So I have a long-standing career here doing all kinds of theater, a lot of August Wilson pieces, a lot of historical pieces. But I actually had retired from performing 2 years before I got the call for Power. I had ventured into doing some like group fitness. I was a group fitness instructor at a pretty popular health club. So my career doing that was sort of taking off, and I was doing theater, and I decided that I wanted to lay it down. And I thought I was done, man. So I retired. And then COVID hit while I was a group fitness instructor, and it closed all the health clubs in Chicago. So I was actually laid off. And then that's when my phone rang, man. And it was Joseph Secor, AKA Tommy Egan. Like, yo, there's this role coming up in a new series that I think you'd be great for. So he threw my hat in the ring. He gave my name to, the producers, and I just started auditioning for it, man. And because it was COVID, all the auditions were like this. They were over Zoom, So it took about seven or so auditions for me to finally nail it. But I did that last audition, and they decided, luckily, thankfully, to cast me as JP Gibbs.